I am a proud veteran of the United States Army and also proud to serve as a state senator for the Orange County area. And you are now joining what is the second installment of something we started last year, which is a virtual career pathways workshop for veterans to learn more about careers and opportunities in the construction building trades in California. So this evening, you're going to hear from a roster of some of the best and most talented, most committed members of individual building trades. And they're going to give you insight into opportunities that may fit your interest and your needs. And I would say, generally, there is no better place for veterans coming out of the service than working in the building and construction trades. You will find no other place that will honor the skills you bring out of your military service, that will give you an opportunity to be part of the kind of community that you enjoyed in the military. And just importantly, you'll have opportunities for career advancement and financial security for yourself and your family over time. So no more appropriate time to do this than on the cusp of Veterans Day. We've all, if you're vets, you're used to being thanked for your service. The best way to thank a veteran for his or her service is to give them a good job that will take you somewhere by way of a good career. And that's what we're aspiring to do tonight. I want to thank CalVet, the State Building and Construction Trades Council, and the Helmets to Hard Hats folks for all of the work that you helped. You contributed putting this together. I'm told we have well over 200 registrations. That is really impressive. And we're going to get into it. And so by way of doing that, it's my pleasure to introduce a friend and colleague, the president of the California Building and Construction Trades, Chris Hanning, for some remarks, and then we'll move into the meat of the program. Chris, welcome and thank you.
Thank you, Senator. I want to start off on behalf of the 450,000 members of our 125 building trades affiliated unions, craft councils, building trades councils. I want to start off by thanking Senator Newman for your leadership. I want to thank the staff of Senator Newman, CalVet, and all of our building trades unions and apprenticeships, Helmets to Hard Hats, and the Apprenticeship Readiness Fund for getting on the Zoom tonight. Most of all, I want to thank all of you for your service and for taking time this evening to find out about careers in the building and construction trades. As a 28-year member myself of a building trades union, I can tell you my career has exceeded every expectation I've had. It's offered me training, not just training for a job, but for my career. A year into the future, 5 years into the future, and decades into the future. Today, you have some of our best apprenticeships and local unions on here to tell you about their crafts. They're going to come across tonight telling you about their crafts, and it's going to come across that their craft is the very best there is. And that's because every one of us believes in what we do. And every one of these crafts is the very top of their industry. The most professional craftspeople in the world, the best training in the world. And one of the exciting things you have to look forward to in the state of California, we're building the best projects in the world. Right now, we have the largest investment in our infrastructure in the United States in the last half century. So in all of our lifetimes, we're having the greatest investment in infrastructure, and our building trades unions are going after that work and providing careers for all of you. Maybe the best part beyond the training, beyond the wages, is the camaraderie and the friendships you'll create if you select a career in one of these building trades unions. I welcome you, and I want to thank all of our local unions and apprenticeship programs also on here for welcoming all of you to consider a career in our local unions. Best of luck to you.
And so thank you, Chris. I'm really grateful for your leadership and for everybody here from the trades. With that, let me introduce next Andrew Gonzalez, who's the council representative for the Los Angeles and Orange County Building Construction Trades Local. Andrew, welcome.
Thank you, Senator Newman. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. Thank you all of you for being here today. First, I want to be the first to say Happy Veterans Day to everybody. My name is Andrew Gonzalez. I'm council representative for the LANOC Building and Construction Trades Council. I'm also a veteran of the United States Army,
Cool.
serving at Fort Riley, Kansas. My MOS was 11 Mike, which is mechanized infantry. So I drove around in a moving elevator or a death box called the Bradley Fighting Vehicle. Did that for a couple of years. But 22 years ago, gosh, you say that, it sounds like a long time ago now. I was where some of you are at now. Recently separated from the military and looking for a job. My recruiter told me that my military experience was something employers were looking for, and that my job duties in the military would translate into a job in the private sector. Boy, well, I know what a bunch of BS that was. When I got out, I was offered jobs selling steak knives and insurance, worked in call centers and telemarketing. I even worked for a rent-to-own store selling revolving debt and cashing checks for the dog-faced soldiers. When I'd meet job recruiters for a real career, they'd thank me for my service, but then ask, what else have I done? I was embarrassed and I was ashamed. Maybe some of this sounds familiar to some of you out there. Here in this room, though, it's not BS because we know what you have to offer. We're grateful for your service, and we know we're grateful for your service. We know what you have to offer. We don't care that maybe you don't know how to weld or operate a piece of machinery or fit a pipe. Our apprenticeship programs and our journeyman will teach you everything you need to know. What we can't teach you, though, is that you know how to wake up early and stay up late, because that's what it takes to get the job done. You know that getting the job done right the first time is way faster than hurrying up and messing up and having to do it all over again. You know that when you mess up, though, you let down not more than yourself. You let the team down. And you'll be goddamned if you're going to let this team down. Because you know that when your company formation is 0600, that means you got to be there at 0530. These are traits that are hard to teach, but they're traits that have been ingrained in you over your military career. You have what we're looking for. We appreciate these traits and we thank you for your service. We thank you for your service by providing this opportunity to earn a real living with work that you can be proud of. The next time you walk to that football stadium or basketball arena with your family, you can tell your kids that you built that. We thank you for your service by ensuring that our project labor agreements put you at the front of the line for jobs and work because you earned it. And we thank you for your service by planning for a secure retirement with a pension worthy of a lifetime of hard work. This is how we thank you for your service. There's a great program in store for you tonight. So listen up, take notes, and get ready to work. Happy Veterans Day, everybody.
Thank you, Andrew. And so next, glad to welcome Michael Cisneros from the California Department of Veterans Affairs. He's the CalTAP training coordinator. He's going to talk a little bit about veteran construction apprenticeship opportunities. Michael, thanks for being here.
Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. Special thank you to Senator Newman and your team for inviting us to be here. Today, I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about the CalTAP program and what we have to offer veterans across the state, going a little bit about your local interagency network coordinators, and talk a little bit about the county veteran service offices. With this, am I saying next slide, or do I have?
Nathan's going to advance it. There you
Perfect.
go.
All right. With the with the California Department of Veteran Affairs, you can kind of think of us as you could think of the department as an umbrella. And the divisions fall underneath that department. We have the Veteran Services Division, which is what I'm part of. A Home Loans Division. This is a home loans program that's different than the federal VA home loans program that you might be familiar with. We also have a division that focuses on advocacy, outreach, and support for our women veterans and our minority and underrepresented veterans. And then we have a division for our homes for long-term care. So we have 8 different homes for long-term care for our senior veterans. If you're looking for specific housing, then that would determine where you go in the state with those homes. You could definitely find this information on our website, though. Next slide. So as I said, I'm part of the CalTAP program, I'm part of CalTAP. CalTAP stands for the California Transition Assistance Program. I've been a training coordinator with CalTAP for about 4 years now. Love what I do. I'm a veteran myself. I separated from the Air Force back in 2007, used up my benefits, and I'm happy to be here working with veterans and talking to them about what's available to them when they separate. Next slide. So what is CalTAP? CalTAP is a transition assistance program that is designed to inform and connect veterans of all eras to their state, federal, and federal benefits, as well as provide continuous assistance as their needs change over time. And so what we've done is we've developed different pathways that help veterans navigate those benefits and services available to them. That's an education pathway, an employment pathway, entrepreneurship pathway. We have a service writer pathway for those individuals that want to work with veterans but aren't familiar with the veteran culture. And then we have a core curriculum pathway that talks about the different benefits and services that don't fit into the topics that I just mentioned. Next slide. So what are those benefits? Well, the CalVet has a education benefit for our service members. This is a benefit. This is education, a fee waiver for dependents. We want the veteran to use their own education benefits when they can. And with this benefit, they can send their dependent to any state-funded school for free. So any CSU, UC, or California Community College. They also partner with the DMV to make it easier to identify as a veteran. So now you can actually get the word veteran printed on your driver's license. And then there's a motor vehicle registration fee waiver for those veterans that are 100% disabled and the disability has to affect their mobility. Next slide. If you like to be outdoors, there is a reduced fishing and hunting license that you could take advantage of. You could also get a state park pass at no cost. And then we have some tax programs out there too. These tax programs are different across the state. So if you are interested in the property tax exemption, you might want to check with your local county tax assessor. They can tell you a little bit more about those eligibility requirements. And if you are interested in opening up your own business, we have a DBE program that you may be interested in that could get you perks for selling to the state if that's what you want to do. Next slide. All right. So another benefit that you guys are given through CalVet is a local interagency network coordinator, or a link. You can go to the next slide. So the link, these are actually 8 different people across California. So depending on where you land in California, you may want to take down the email address associated with that region. These individuals are familiar with local resources in that specific region. They are also the liaison between the veteran and their community and the federal and state benefits. So whether you're in Southern California or Northern California, you're needing assistance like housing assistance, or maybe you're looking for legal assistance, you can reach out to these individuals. They accept cold calls and they can help you out any time of the day, especially if it's an emergency. So I definitely recommend reaching out to them if you guys have any questions about what's available to you, especially if it's outside of the state or the federal benefit side. They connect you with, they have relationships with individuals in their county veteran service offices. They're there on a regular basis, working with the veterans that come into those offices. They also have connections with individuals in other departments across the state, so specifically EDD and America's Job Center for California. And then they can also get you connected with your VA healthcare benefits if that's what you're looking to do too. Next slide. So I kind of talked about this already just a little bit, but these individuals provide outreach to service members, veterans, and their families, and they make referrals and work directly with established service members and provided networks. So they are the ones that are in the field. They're the ones that get the veterans connected to different services, or get them connected to the right individual who can help them out. They assist with local emergencies. So for example, we had the Paradise fires up here in Northern California a couple years ago. Our Northern Valley link was there assisting those veterans who were affected by the fire, helping them get their houses rebuilt if they were taking advantage of the CalVet home loans, getting them resources that they needed. So they're very they work really well, and they work within the community with those resources. And then they provide leadership and support. That's good. Yeah, sorry, you can go to the next slide. So the county veteran service offices, or depending on where you're at in the state, they could be the Office of Military and Veteran Affairs. These are specific offices that have veteran service representatives that can help you out with getting those processes started for any of the benefits that you're looking for, whether it's state or federal. They offer free comprehensive benefit counseling, so you wouldn't have to pay a fee at all. If you are going to somebody to get your benefits started and and they are asking for a fee, you may want to back away and find a county veteran service office and speak with that veteran service representative. All these services should be free to you when you are looking for them. They provide networking and advocacy with federal, state, and local agencies. If you're looking to file for your compensation, they start that process there. They also can get you started with those burial benefits if that's what you're looking for. You can go in and there's a pre-screening process that you can get going if you are looking to get that started, especially with the state cemeteries. CalVet also has 3 different state cemeteries that you can look into. Records request is a major one also. So if you're looking to find your DD Form 214, you can go to archives.gov, or you can also go to your county veteran service office, and they can help you out with getting those records requests as well. And discharge upgrade process is a major one, and the fee waiver. You'll get all those documents at the county veteran service office, along with the veteran designation if that's what you want. And from there, they'll hold your hand until those processes are finished. So next slide. This next couple slides just showing you how you can find your closest county veteran service office. And so if you go to CalVet's website, or actually if you start off at your California Veterans Resource Book, you can find a PDF copy of this book on our website, calvet.ca.gov, or you can go to a county veteran service office and find a hard copy there. But in that book, they'll give you a list of all the counties and the offices associated with those counties, the addresses, phone numbers, fax numbers, if that's what they have as well. Next slide. That's my contact information. If you have any questions about what I discussed today, or any questions about anything that was discussed during this event, feel free to reach out. I check my email address on a regular basis. If I can't answer your questions, I could definitely direct you to somebody who can. So definitely use me as a resource. Write down my email address, and reach out whenever you need. Thank you for having me today. That's what CalTAP's about, and hope to hear from you guys soon. Thanks.
All right, I'm unmuted. So thanks, Michael. I really appreciate it. We're going to get into kind of the meat of the order here. And with that, I'm glad to introduce Quincy Lunford, who is the Southwest Regional Manager for Helmets to Hard Hats. He's apparently in the Witness Protection Program there in the dark. Quincy, welcome. Thanks for all of your help in putting this together.
Thank you, Senator Newman. Thank you all. Thank you to your team as well. Chris Hannon, Andrew with State of California and the LAOC Building Trades Council. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to all the veterans about the benefits. I'd like to thank all the affiliates that's taken the time tonight to speak to them about their individual trades. It's a great opportunity. This is a great time for veterans to get into the union construction space. I myself am also a veteran and a proud member of Ironworkers Local 416, 20 years in both, active duty Marine and current Army reservist. I have my colleague, Nick Weathers, who's also on the call, and I'll let him speak about his service. Helmets to Hard Hats is a 501c3 nonprofit that was started about 20 years ago by the North American Building Trades Union. Our mission at Helmets to Hard Hats is to assist transitioning service members and veterans enter into the union construction space. We cover all 15 trades, and then we also cover non-craft positions. Our bread and butter, however, is all 15 trades. And those are the representatives here tonight that are going to give you a little more information about their trades, what it is they do, how to enter their trades, and what you can look forward to once you begin work with them. If you have any questions about how to register with Helmets to Hard Hats, it's fairly simple. You go to helmetstohardhats.org, create a profile, which includes your basic demographic information, and then you'll get an email from us, and we'll start the process once you identify a trade, and you'll go from there. At this moment, that's all I have. Thank you guys for taking the time this evening to listen to all the wonderful opportunities we have before you.
Yeah, really appreciate it, Quincy. If you wouldn't mind putting your info in the chat now, and everybody, as I put in the chat, feel free to use the chat. to get a hold of Quincy, any other individual presenters. My office will connect the dots if necessary. But we're here to be a resource this evening. And now we're going to get into the individual presentations about specific trades. So the first one, the International Brotherhood of Boilermakers, Randy Thomas. Thank you so much for being here. Randy's going to give you and you're going to hear this from everybody. He's going to give you sort of a quick and dirty summary of, how to get into his trade, what it's like, where it will take you, and what you need to know. Thanks, Randy.
Very good. Thank you very much. And thank you all for your service, first and foremost. My name is Randy Thomas, and I'm the business manager of Boilermakers Local 549, located in Pittsburgh, California. I'm a graduate apprentice of the apprenticeship program, and the majority of the work that we do is heavy industrial. Next slide, please. So a day in the life of the Boilermakers. Here's a couple of cool pictures that we've got since 1880. Thank you. Typical duties of a Boilermaker would be rigging, fabrication, and welding in the industrial sectors. We work in power plants, chemical plants, refineries, heavy industrial places that most people aren't even allowed to get into. There's a gate to prevent people from getting in there. Those are the facilities that we get to work inside of. Since 1880, we've been growing and evolving in our work in construction and maintenance of pressure vessels in the power generation, petrochemical, nuclear industries, shipbuilding, and developing green energy technologies. Next slide. So here, I think a good visual representation of some of the stuff that we get to do. We work at heights. We work in confined spaces. We get to rig and weld big, heavy stuff. So none of it is small scale. It's all definitely takes a group effort in order to be able to get the job done. And I think that we have a big sense of brotherhood as far as the places that we work in. We're definitely reliant upon the person that you're working with, that they're going to be your first line of support in case that you have an emergency or an injury or anything. And then also you're really your only tool that you get to do this job with. Next slide. Some of the work that we wind up doing is shop maintenance opportunities. So we do have shops, facilities located throughout the Bay Area. We make equipment that makes churro machines. We make equipment that makes the Doritos, Locos, Tacos. We also have a galvanizing shop. We do refinery maintenance opportunities. So all 5 of the refineries in the Bay Area have maintenance workers, and those are full-time opportunities. And then we also have new construction jobs, and those are for 8 to 10 months, and then you end up getting laid off whenever it's over. But our biggest specialization is in short-term and emergency turnarounds. Since we do turnarounds for power plants, they will call us and say that there's a tube that's blown, the power plant is down, we need people out here tomorrow to be able to get it back on. So it's definitely a group effort to get going, and our apprenticeship program is Earn While You Learn. So our apprenticeship wages start at 62% of journeyman scale, which is $37.82 hourly for entry level. And then a journey person turns out at $58.18 hourly, with the entire package at $101. And there are other increases due to earned welding certifications. The health coverage is after you have 2,300 hours in, and it's taken from your entire package. It's not off of your hourly wage. And our pension out of that $101 is $20.61 is put towards your pension hourly. We also have an annuity at $2.88 per hour and $6 per hour vacation pay that we get on December 1st. Next slide. Getting started, our basic eligibility requirements, the cream of the crop, or Pool 1 for the Boilermakers, is a veteran with a DD-214, a tube welder, or somebody with 1,500 hours of prior work history experience as a Boilermaker. The only requirements are a high school diploma or a GED and a birth certificate. The apprenticeship to journeyman pipeline is 6,000 hours of in the field on the job training, and you must maintain a minimum of one welding certification to graduate from our program. And there's a series of online courses per year, as well as 700 hours of in-person training over the average of 4 years. Securing employment, we're a list trade, not a seek and find trade. So that means that you're dispatched according to your skill set, and apprentices are dispatched out on a 5-to-1 ratio for journey persons to apprentice. So every apprentice is on the job site is partnered up with a journeyman at all times. And so that's all I have for a presentation. We pass out applications every Friday at 2 o'clock at 2191 Piedmont Way. Please look up our website and see some of the videos that are on there. I think that the Brotherhood of Boilermakers definitely has a place for veterans because of the confined spaces and the commitment that we have to our fellow brothers and sisters in order to be able to work safe and go home and see our families. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to present today.
Unmute. Am I unmuted? Yeah. So Randy, thank you. If you wouldn't mind putting your info into the chat. Let me also point out, you're going to hear from different experts from different locals. There typically will be another local in another part of the state, maybe closer to you, and we will do our best to connect you depending on where you are and where you want to be. Next up, glad to have with the bricklayers and allied craftsmen, Lupe Aldaco. Lupe, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Senator, very much for having me, and just a happy Veterans Day to all of you, and thank you for your service. I feel privileged to be able to present to you tonight, and I just wanted to share with you a little bit about me. I've been a union bricklayer for 33 years. I started out as an apprentice, and I learned my trade from the best journeymen in the trades. Through hard work and being dependable, reliable, I've had quite a successful career. And this is available to anyone, especially you guys and you women. I advanced from a journeyman bricklayer to a foreman, and from there I advanced to a field superintendent. And 8 years ago, I started working at the union as a field rep and moved into my position as president 2 years later. I guess I should have told you that. I'm the president of Bricklayers and Allied Crafts Local 4, Southern California. I share this with you guys and girls to just for the purpose of showing that if I can do this, anyone can do this. And our contractors are always looking for workers with your abilities. You guys work hard, you get up early, and you already know how to do those things. And the skills that are required for the trade, anybody can learn them if you just have the drive and that's what your desire is. So with that, I will get started on the first slide. If I could have that one more time, I'd appreciate it. We've been around for since the Bricklayers Union started in October 17th, 1865, and is the oldest union in the country, with a rich history of building iconic structures in our country that are still standing. Okay, excuse me. All right, next slide. Okay, so the day in the life of a bricklayer. Typical duties of a bricklayer are many. You basically will use brick, block, stone, any kind of material that we use. We do glass, but you'll be using a hand trowel, levels, lines, and mortar as a rule. Work is fast-paced and is strenuous. And the job sites are typically outside, and you are exposed to the weather conditions. Often you work off of scaffolds, elevated platforms. So sometimes the areas that you have to work off are not level, and they're a little tough to get out of the ground sometimes. There are many other materials used in masonry construction that you will use in the course of your day. Rebar, grout, or concrete, hammers, power tools, and the like. You will work on jobs that are simple and jobs that are more complex. Schools, high-rise hotels, government buildings, and the like. And we also train tile setting, marble and stone laying, tile and marble finishing, refractory workers, terrazzo, and pointer caulker cleaners, restoration workers. This is just a couple of pictures of, simple projects to some larger, pretty big jobs that you will be able to work on. So your GI Bill allows you to start at a level 2 apprentice with the current rate of $25.96 and a total package of $39.08. Health and welfare is part of that, and it includes dental and vision and covers your family. It only takes you 400 hours to become eligible for your health and welfare. You start with a pension contribution of $348, and it goes up to $948 as a journeyman bricklayer. The journeyman bricklayer rate is $47.20 with a total package of $67.96. There have a local pension, you have a defined contribution pension, and you have an international union defined benefit pension. Vacation pay is $2 per hour, which that comes off the total package as well. And getting started, 18 with a high school diploma. Apprentices will learn skills on the job and be required to attend the training center 4 weeks a year. So every quarter, you'll come to school for a week at a time. Your pay increases will happen every 6 months if you track and stay on schedule. The brick apprenticeship is 3.5 years. The tile apprenticeship is 4 years. And apprentices are hired by our signatory contractors who are always looking for the best. And then if you're interested, you can see our website through the QR code, go to bac4ca.org, and I'll put that information in the chat for everybody. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, and thank you, Lupe. Really, really appreciate it. And so next up, you're going to learn about electrical work. Garrett Greer from the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. Welcome. Go ahead.
All right, thank you, Senator. Glad to be here. I'd like to start by thanking all of the people on the call for your service. My name is Garrett Greer. I'm the training director for the San Joaquin and Calaveras Counties Electrical JATC, which is located in Stockton, California. Our JATC, or Joint Apprenticeship and Training Committee, is jointly sponsored by Local 595 of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers and the Northern California chapter of the National Electrical Contractors Association. So NECA and IBEW jointly sponsor apprenticeships across North America. So no matter where you plan on settling down after you transition back to civilian life, there'll be a training center near you to go find. So what would you be doing if you decide to pursue an electrical career? Well, that would depend on what type of electrical work you want to do. The IBEW sponsors 4 main types of apprenticeships. We have outside linemen, like utility type work. We have inside wiremen. This is a commercial industrial electrician. We've got a VDV program that's low voltage telecommunications. We even have residential wiremen, right, doing new home construction. I personally represent an inside apprenticeship program, and I'll speak to that. Inside wiremen, we perform many technical, physical, demanding tasks every day. Some of these tasks could be installing conduit, pulling wire, terminating electrical devices, programming controls, installing large switchgear or panels, installing motors, the motor controls, process controls in plants, and then doing the programming to make sure all those controls perform a specific function. That's just a small sampling of our work tasks. And our work sites, they can include schools, hospitals, high-rise buildings, factories of all types, power plants, solar fields, battery storage facilities, data centers, refineries, anything that, is dependent on electricity to operate. And also, often we're the first trade on a job, right? We're there to provide power to the job shack or temp power for the other trades so that they can do their work. And then rolling right into doing underground conduit, right? So that we can, before the slab is even poured, right? We're down in the dirt before the building even starts. And then we're the last ones to leave too, right? We're putting the final trim on, we're installing lights, you know, and this is after the painters or the tile trades are done, right? Or, you know, commissioning the plant, right? Turning on, making sure all those controls actually perform those specific functions. If you can do the next slide, please. Pay and benefits, they're going to vary from local to local. And, you know, they're usually determined by either the local labor market and the cost of living. That kind of determines what their wage scale is going to be. We are GI compatible, right? So as a vet, with my program specifically, you can qualify for up to $2,100 per month as a housing allowance and an additional $83 per month for supplies for school or tools. You know, and like I said, that's just for my program here in the Central Valley. And I'm pretty sure that's based off the cost of living here. So it might be different as you travel across the state. In ours, you know, as you progress through the apprenticeship, you're getting raises, you're getting increases. And so that amount, that stipend that you're getting, it decreases every 6 months as you progress through the apprenticeship. Our apprentices, they're currently starting at $21.35 per hour with a total package of $41.25 per hour. And our journey persons, they're currently at $47.45 per hour and a package of $78.97 per hour. You know, included in that package, when we're talking about a package, included in there's, you know, health and welfare coverage, and that's for you and your entire family. It could be no kids, 1 kid, 10 kids. That's the same price for everybody. We also have a money purchase account, right? Kind of similar to a 401k, your defined benefit or pensions, and then another smaller IO pension as well. Can we go to the next slide, please? How can you get started, right? Well, first, I would recommend that you search for an IBEW NECA joint apprenticeship near where you want to be. Second, you know, check out that website for specific application requirements, what the dates are that they take applications. Typical requirements are that you're going to be, you know, 18 years old, going to have a high school diploma or GED, valid driver's license, and a transcript showing that you passed algebra with a grade of C or better. And as a veteran, you might not even have to meet those requirements. So you can qualify for an interview if you've completed 3 years of active duty within the last 5 years and have an honorable discharge, right? You don't have to meet that graduation or that algebra requirement. Or if you've completed 6 years of reserve service within the last 2 years and have an honorable discharge. To qualify for that, right, you got to be able to provide your DD 214 at the time of application. We also have an aptitude test, but for a veteran that qualifies under those application processes, you don't have to pass it, but we're going to use it as a tool to know where we can assist you. Do you need tutoring in a specific place? Is your math weak? Can we help you with that? Right. So we're still going to use it as a tool to assess you. After that, you're going to get scheduled for an interview with the JATC. And after interviewing, you'll be placed on a ranked list from which the apprentices are selected. Fourth, then if you're selected, you know, you'll be registered as an apprentice, both with the Department of Labor, Office of Apprenticeship, and the Department of Industrial Relations, Division of Apprenticeship Standards. And then you'll be sworn in as a member of the sponsoring local. And then as a registered apprentice, you'll complete the 5-year program, going to school at the JATC. There's no cost to you when you're going through the JATC. And you'll be going to work, being trained by journey persons on the job and earning a check, earn while you learn, bringing home that paycheck to the family while you're learning the craft of your trade. I don't know if I got the next slide on there or not, if that ended. I don't know if I was in time on that. I added one late.
I think it's not on there, Garrett. So
All
feel free to wing it.
I'm going to wing it then. So in closing, I'd like to mention one other program, and this is a national program put on by our national JATC. And the program is called VEEP. It's the Veterans Electrical Entry Program. And it's available to the transitioning service members and can be used during your skill bridge window. I don't have a lot more information than that because I didn't get it on the slide, but the website, and I'll put it in the chat, is in2veep.com, INT or IN2 number 2 veep.com. And so I'll drop that in there. It's a great way to get a leg up as you transition out. And thank you very much for your service.
And thank you. So that intoveep.com is actually on the slide. So thanks, Garrett. And Garrett touched on something for electricians, but it applies to all trades. You will not find better benefits. You will not find better health care than you will in the construction building trades. And that is no small thing once you're at work and you have a family. So it's something to keep in mind. Next up, we've got elevator constructors. Nick Moore with Local 8, welcome. Appreciate you doing this.
No problem. Thank you, everybody, for your time. I myself am an Air Force veteran and A-10 crew chief, so I'm happy to help some brothers and sisters find a new career path. So, day in the life of an elevator constructor, typical duties, there's multiple facets within the trade. There's service, repair, new construction, modernization. It could vary from facet to facet. Service, you have a set schedule during the day, but you could be on call at night. Somebody gets trapped in an elevator, you're out the door to go get them because there is no, closed business hours when it comes to elevators. New construction, you have more of a set schedule, but you could be traveling more in this, that, or the other. The way that the trade contributes to constructions and buildings is generally pretty clear. We help people with disabilities get to where they need to go every day. We help everybody else just get to where they need to go as well. On a new construction job site, you'll be dealing with heights, obviously. You're going to be dealing with a fast-paced work environment, close tolerances. We try to keep our tolerances within a 64th for the elevator trade. We are precise. You have to be. For service, repair, new construction, your day could vary from working on equipment that was installed in the 1920s to current stuff that was installed today and anything in between. So for union employment, we are an international union of elevator constructors. We cover from California to, New York. So if you're not looking for work in just the Bay Area, you could contact your local union. Next slide. So this piggybacks into that a little bit. For Local 8's jurisdiction, it is rather expansive. It goes from the Tehachapi line down there to the Oregon border to Reno. 1,400 elevator constructors cover that area. Obviously more in the big cities, San Francisco, Sacramento, San Jose, even out of San Luis Obispo, and then, down in the valley. But it is one local for this whole area. Next slide. Pay and benefits. GI Bill compatibility, others have touched on that. I'm not sure on the exact rate, but we do accept that. And I highly recommend any trade you get into, you make sure that if it is compatible, you utilize those benefits. So apprentice wages start at 50% of mechanics rate. That is $38.81 an hour. Progressive increases of 55%, 65%, 70%, 80% mechanics rate of pay as you pass your courses with on-the-job training. Our mechanic journey person's base wage is $77.61. When I say base wage, I say that because these wages are a negotiated minimum. Okay. Health coverage is top notch. Like I said before, all of us trades, we make sure that you're happy and healthy and that your family is happy and healthy. We have great vision and dental. We have pension, annuity, non-matched 401k, but we do have a solid 401k program. We get paid vacation, PTO, 8 paid holidays, and our total benefit package is about $38.35 an hour. Next slide. So getting started with the elevator trade. You have to have a GED or equivalent. You have to we do so for recruitments, it's not a 2 to 3 year intervals. For the helmets to hard hats, it is a direct access. You will have the opportunity to interview at least every 6 months, I would imagine. I left my information in the chat. If you have any questions and want to reach out to us, please feel free. The other way you could see for applying in other states is there is a link provided at the bottom. Please write that down. I will supply you some time to get that real quick. While people are writing that down, hopefully I'm going to go over some other things about getting started. If you have a little bit of mechanical aptitude, you like working on cars, you like, turning wrenches, even going down to a YouTube video, this is a trade that if you have some mechanical aptitude, we could teach you. You want to make sure that you understand what you're looking at. Okay, so I think everybody had enough time. Next slide. Nope, one more time.
Oh, there you go. So I think that's it. So thank you. And so for everybody who's watching, we've recorded this. If you get a hold of Erica, who's monitoring the chat, we're glad to send you the deck. All these links will be clickable when you receive this via email. But Nick, thank you for your presentation. And Nick touched on something really important as it relates to GI Bill compatibility. In most instances, where you get into a trade and you have to purchase tools and other necessary things, your GI Bill benefits will cover that. And that's a huge leg up as you get started. And with that, again, thank you to Nick. Next up, we've got Martin Delacruz from Laborers International Union of North America, or LIUNA. Welcome, Martin.
Good afternoon. Actually, there's been a change. Martin couldn't make it. He had an emergency. This is Ernesto Pantoja, who I helped Martin put everything together. So I'm going to try to go through this. And unfortunately, I had to pick up my son. So I do apologize. It's not the way we intended about going about this. So I'm going to, if you can give me a minute to pull over somewhere safely.
It's okay. Yeah, that's fine. So in true military style, the mission must continue, right? You're good.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. But so I found a good space, and my son's in the back, so I do apologize. But I'm going to try to do the best I can. My name's Ernesto Pantoja. I'm the Special Projects Agent for Laborers Local 300. As many of my brothers have said earlier, we're just one local out of the entire state of California. There's locals up and down the state of California. We happen to cover a majority of the county of Los Angeles, covering from Lancaster all the way down to LAX along the Ventura County line, and then kind of straight across all the way to Pomona, abutting the San Bernardino County line, and everything in there. The day in the life of a laborer, we were originally started in 1903. We were started as a tending trade. So our original craft was basically tending the other crafts within the construction trades. And that kind of has evolved over time. Laborers are the miners in the tunnels. We do lead, asbestos abatement. We do landscape maintenance and construction. We work with the operators on the asphalts and the paving, along with the striping. We do demolition. We work with the cement finishers and the carpenters on the concrete. We kind of do. Sorry guys, we do a lot on the construction side. I do apologize, I have my son with me. And we work on every facet, right? We work in the private side, whether it's commercial, residential. On the agency side, we work along with a lot of our brothers and sisters from the other trades on a lot of public projects, agency projects, transportation projects. So we're kind of involved in every aspect of construction. We're there as part of the beginning of the crews with the infrastructure, and at the end, we also do final clean. So we help prepare buildings for to turn over to the owners, however that may be. next slide. Okay. The apprentices, so the GI Bill is compatible with ours. I know a lot of my other brothers had explained it before. Ours work the same way. The hours are credited and they're submitted to the VA, and then the member can use that towards, I put stipend in there. That wasn't the right response, but I didn't know how to say it, but it's the same thing. You get a check that you can use for anything else basically, but our apprenticeship program is covered. So once you become an apprentice, that's covered by us, and then you just get credited through the VA for those hours that you're in class. First period apprentice wages begin at $22.19 an hour, with a $15.56 an hour benefit. It's 600 to 700 hours of on-the-job training coupled with in the class training, 50 hours. There's 6 periods. Once you get to the 6th period, then you what we call journey out. You become a journey person, and you get the full rate, which is right now journey person begins at $41.38 an hour with the $27 an hour benefit package. And that includes pension, benefits for yourself and your family, and as well as an annuity. And the only thing is, I want to make it clear that for first period apprentices, you normally don't get benefit. You don't get the full blown benefits. You do get some benefits, but as you move up periods, the wage increases as well as the benefits, and then you'll be able to get coverage for your family as well. We have different healthcare options, whether you can pick a HMO option, PPO, or EPO. Next slide, please. Requirements. First thing to get in, you can go to our school in Azusa or online and fill out an application, send it in, and check in regularly. You can come into the local, check in. We do accept veterans with your DD-214 under the Helmets to Hard Hats program. We don't charge an initiation, so anybody that's a veteran who wants to come in, they can. But our regular requirements: 18 years of age, must have a valid government issued photo ID and social security number. That's it. And most importantly, what we tell everybody, physically fit to do the work, right? I mean, you'll be assessed before coming in, and you'll have to go through our boot camp and all that to enter once you've been given that opportunity. And like I said, apprentices must complete 6 periods to journey out, become a journey person, complete roughly 600 to 700 hours of on-the-job training, and roughly 50 hours of related supplemental instruction. That's the in-class. If you complete the apprenticeship program, you'll have worked about 4,000 hours and have completed over 300 hours of supplemental instruction, which we call in the class training. Next. And apprentices, the way they work, they put their name on the apprentice out of work list, and they go out accordingly. Unless we have projects that call out specifically for veterans, then they'll get priority and go out on jobs as veterans. Otherwise, they'll be called by number on their based on placement on the list. And same thing, our ratios are 5 to 1, so they'll be working 5 journeymen to the apprentices, so that they're working along with the journey persons and learning the craft directly. Next.
Right. I think that's it, Ernesto. Thank you. So nice save from the car with the seatbelt on the whole time. Well done. Well presented.
Thank you, Senator.
Good to see you, and appreciate the information. And tell your son thanks for his patience. Really appreciate it. And we'll connect everybody to all of the presenters. And again, it's not just about the specific union. If there's a local near you, we'll connect you to that local. Best contacts for that are Nick up north and Quincy down south. Next up, we have the International Association of Heat and Frost Insulators. Lupe Moreno, thank you for making the time to do this. We will spotlight you.
All right. I want to thank everybody, especially you, Josh, Chris Hannon, and your staff. Our name is Heat and Frost Insulators, Local 5. We cover Southern California. There is a sister local 16 up if you're interested up in Northern California, that covers Northern California, and Local 5, we cover all Southern California. One quick thing I'd like to let everybody know, that if you're interested in any one of the trades, you hear all the great bennies of all the trades. We're here just as a building trades to support each other and offer opportunity to everyone. First of all, and for us, if you go on to YouTube, if you're interested in the Insulators Union, if you look into a day in life of an insulator, there's actually some pretty interesting YouTube videos that show you what the insulators do, what it is to wake up early in the morning, and the jobs that we cover. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I'm back when I'm probably. Okay, so typical duties is first of all, like anything else, once you start in the trade, you're basically a helper. We're learning everything, right? We work with journey workers as apprentices until we learn the trade. Once you work your way up through the ranks is when you start actually working on the installation, doing the finishing work. We do everything from nuclear plants, power plants, chemical plants, schools, houses, high rises. Insulators is it's a very unknown trade, and not very many people know that there's an insulators, or especially an insulators union. But we have about 1,000-something insulators in our local, and that's not including local 16's insulators. Example of job types I've given you: union employment. Of course, we're in good contact with most of our contractors. They have a lot of steady work. Most of our members work, their whole careers, and maybe get a couple of days off. We don't stop work if it's raining. Most of our work's done inside. Yes, so that would next slide, please. So we are GI Bill compatibility, apprentices wages. Our first years starting in the apprenticeship program, which is a 5-year program consisting of 4 weeks a year from Thursday to Monday. You would attend a apprenticeship at no cost to you, and then you would be working. So you're, like they say, right, you're learning while you're earning. They start off at $28.40 is what a first year starts off, and a journey worker makes $56.81. That's just your take home. That's not including your full package. We also have health coverage, dental, vision, pensions. We have our local pension. Then you have an individual retirement plan, your IRA. Next slide, if I have one. If not, so if you're interested in, like I said, any one of the trades, if you're interested in heat and frost insulators and allied workers, if you just, we do applications quarterly here up in Southern California. I'll put the number down, or if you want to jot it down, it's our office number is 909-390-7004. We'll give you the dates, when to come and apply. Your basic eligibility for it would be just a high school diploma or GED, a valid driver's license, and social security card, and that's all it takes. And from there, once you join any one of the trades or local 5, we'll get you started in the career, right path, and great benefits and great job.
And thank you, Lupe. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate your point, which is all the trades work together. And that's important to remember. And that's part of why this is such a great fit for vets. So thank you again for participating this evening. Next up, we've got International Association of Bridge Structural, Ornamental, and Reinforcing Ironworkers. Ironworkers, toughest and the best. Brad Hutt, thank you for being here. Let's get you spotlighted. You can go ahead. Thank you, Lupe.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you to all the veterans on this call. Thank you for your service. My name is Brad Huth. I'm with the Ironworkers Apprenticeship, Local 416 and 433. They're in the Los Angeles area, Inland Empire area. But we have multiple locals throughout the state. So if you do want to get into the Ironworkers, by all means, reach out. I'll get you to the people. Basically, wherever you land, we can find an apprenticeship near you. My name is Brad Huth. Like I said, I'm the apprenticeship coordinator. Been in the trade for about 20 years now. It's been a great trade, provides for the family, takes care of everything we need, good retirement, everything else in there. So the day in the life of an ironworker, we house 2 locals, 416, which is the reinforcing local, 433, which is a structural local. And basically, as an apprentice coming in, you're going to be a helper. A lot of what we do is labor intensive. You could be packing for a welder, punking rebar. Basically, anything and everything we do has to be moved. So you're going to be moving all day. It's a very labor intensive trade. Typical hours, we say 8-hour chef, but any of the trades here will let you know that 8 hours is typically just the start. But once you're on the job for 8 hours, 8 hours is the same as 10, same as 12. New apprentices will always work with the journeyman, making sure they're learning this trade properly. We are a 4-year apprenticeship program, and during that apprenticeship program, it is no cost to you. So same thing with most of these trades, it's earn while you learn. We want to make sure when you graduate from this program, you have that journey person. You can go anywhere in the country with the ironworkers without a bill. That's huge. You don't want that. We hear about student debt following people for life. That's not what we're here for. We're here to get people in trades, get people into a, affordable living and a career. The way it works is you'll go out to work with a contractor. You'll come back to class roughly about once every 3 months through that 4-year program. After that 4-year program, once you graduate, we have a lot of continued programs. We work with a couple colleges that you can go finish out a degree. If you have aspirations of starting a business, a company, we have contractor classes. You can pretty much take it as far as you want. Next slide, please. So pay and benefits, we are GI Bill compatible. You also get direct entry in our program. To get into our program, it's nothing. It's the next slide, but it's ID, social, high school diploma. And we tell everybody it's a willingness to go to work. And that's the big part, is you got to be able to get up and go to work. Apprentice wages start at 50% of journeyman scale, which right now it's $23.87. $6 vacation check, which is paid out every 3 months. So basically your contractor pays an additional $6 an hour every 3 months. That's paid out to you, plus benefits. So all your health, your dental, your vision, everything falls in there. We also have a pension and an annuity. So when you retire, there's 2 things going there. Journeyman scale right now is $47.73 on the check, plus your $6 vacation. Total package is about $82.53. We talked about some of the healthcare benefits, and that's the huge saver, for everybody. It's whether you have 1 child or 10, they're covered under that program. We talked about the impact program. That's a program that will help you further your education once you've graduated our program. Tons of stuff in there just to advance journeyman skill, start your own company. They have tons of stuff in there to where if you run all their classes, they'll even help you with grant money to start a company, within the union and within the trades. So there's a lot of benefits once you're in our program and rolling. So like I said, getting started, very simple: ID, social, high school diploma, or GED. If you're military, bring your DD 214. That'll get you rolling with your benefits. You do have all those benefits in there. And in our trade, it's all, you could show up knowing nothing, donut, zero. We'll train you all the way through. We'll make sure you're going through the program. We'll make sure you're doing it right. And that's the goal here, is to carry everybody into the future and get a career. So my contact information's there. By all means, reach out to me. If you're looking to go into another area, another jurisdiction, reach out. If you're getting in the ironworkers, I'll get you into the person that can get you in the right direction.
All right, Brett, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. And I love that your website is universityofiron.org. Nice. So next up, we've got the operating engineers, Holly Brown. Thank you for making the time to do this. And why don't you go ahead?
Can you hear me?
We can now. Thanks. You're good.
Okay. So my name's Holly Brown. I'm with Operating Engineers Local 3. I'm the senior coordinator there. I am a graduate from Operating Engineers, and I would like to thank you all for your service. Operating Engineers Local 3 is the one I'm going to be talking about. Their Local 3 covers Northern California from the Kern County line to the Oregon border, California, and they go from Bakersfield to Mexico. So as I said, I'm going to be talking about Local 3. Local 12 is similar, but we are different. And on the last slide, I do have the websites for both programs so that you can look it up and get information on that. This is an earn while you learn program. You won't have any student loans to pay back. We have over 1,000. We have 1,500 acre training site, over 100 pieces of equipment. Our class size is 6 students to an instructor. We have dorms, cafeteria, and our schooling is free to you. The day in the life of an operating engineer is operating heavy equipment and the repair and maintenance of equipment. We do both commercial and residential development. Underground erections, waterways, both residential and commercial development. We work on roads, dams, energy projects, underground tunnels, highways, bridges, refineries, fire cleanup, and demolition, along with rock quarries. Basically, we get to build California and get paid to play in the dirt. These are 2 to 5 year programs. The bulk of our training is construction equipment operators, grade setters, crane. If you want to do survey and test and inspection, you have to go to our website. As I said, it's on our last slide, and look up technical engineers, because I don't cover those programs. So we are compatible with the GI Bill. We do have a special initiation for veterans that do come into the program. Our starting wage is $30.98 an hour, and the top pay for an apprentice is $47.88. We have 5 steps. As you go through our steps, you go up in pay. You go back to school for 2 weeks at a time, each time, and then you go, as I said, you go up in pay. The average wage for a journeyman is $56.33 an hour. If you're running the bigger pieces of equipment or cranes, you will make more. You can earn your health coverage while you're working, so that medical and retirement if you qualify at the time of retirement. We have pension and annuity. Annuity is $1 an hour. Vacation and sick pay is $3.96 an hour. Next slide, please. So get started, basically you have to be 18 years old, have a California driver's license, live in the local jurisdiction, so Northern California for us. This is our website, oe3.org. Go to Training California. We do actually cover 4 states, so it's important if you're applying for California to go to the California one. Our orientation video will tell you everything about our program, and I suggest that you do watch that. It'll help you decide what you're best interested in or applicable for. After you watch the orientation video, you can get the application. We do the military ASVAB test, and then we do an interview. We do a substance abuse testing. Our initial training is 6 weeks long. We house you, feed you, and train you for free. As I said, these are 2 to 5 year programs, and every time you go up a step, you go to school for 2 weeks at a time, for a total of 4 times. If you're not sure if you qualify for direct entry or you have any issues getting application, you would contact our Director of Training, Kat Lytle, at 916-354-2029. And then the Local 12 website is www.oett.net. We do get paid overtime after 8, time and a half on the Saturdays, double time on Sundays and holidays. You can earn a pension for life. And you get the satisfaction in knowing that you built it, and the equipment does the work, the heavy work for you. So again, thank you for your service and thank you for your time.
And thank you, Holly. Well done. Really appreciate it. And as you heard, Holly was mentioning contributions, annuities, $1 an hour, sick pay, $397. That's the employer contribution, right? So really, really important to emphasize. You know, the building trades, you know, good salary. There are no better benefits. You know, in the other kind of civilian work, you won't get those kinds of additional benefits. And what it adds up to is security, not only now but in the future for you and your family. So something to consider. So thank you again, Holly. Next up, International Union of Painters, Allied Trades, John Tweet. Thank you, John, for being here.
Thank you, Senator. Hey, good evening, fellow veterans. My name is John Tweed. I am a regional director for District Council 16, Painters, Glazers, Tapers, and Allied Trades in Southern California. I'm also a Marine Corps veteran. In Southern California, we split the state. There is another district council, which is DC 36. You know, when I was released from active duty, I returned home, and I'd heard one of the other speakers talk about it, saying, you know, the recruiters promised me this, the recruiters promised me that. And then when I got home, I was kind of left out there with not a whole lot, you know. So I was lucky enough to get into the Glazers in Sacramento in 1997. I turned out in about 2001, and I started running work in the Bay Area. Mid 2011, I became an organizer and then a business rep for my local. And in 2018, I also assumed the title of regional director for Sacramento area. In 2022, I was elected the president of the Mid-Valley Building Trades. So I've really been honored, and I've really been able to start a career out at the bottom and work my way up. So let me tell you who the IUPAT is. We're the Painters and Allied Trades. On the construction side, we have Glazers. So Glazers do glasswork, metal, aluminum fabrication. You could work anywhere from a school to a high rise, even some residential. But they're the ones that are basically putting in all the glass and panels on the exterior of a building and a lot of the glass in the interior. Our drywall finishing program. We do all of the finishing for drywall in Northern California. We apply faux finishes, matte finishes, level 5 finishes. We do all the finishes on the interior drywall that leads up to one of our other crafts, which are the painters. So our painters, basically, we have two classifications. We have industrial painter and we have a commercial painter. Our commercial painter basically is in the interior or exterior, you know, schools, outsides of buildings and different things like that. But now with all the infrastructure that's going on, we also have an incredible industrial painting program. Our industrial painters can work. We have industrial painters that are on the Golden Gate Bridge right now. We have a lot of industrial painters that are at different refineries doing coatings and specialty crafts. So we're really proud of our industrial painting portion. The last one that we represent is the floor covers. So we also do linoleum and carpet for floor covering. We also have a division, so we also doing all of the AstroTurf. So a lot of the fields that you're seeing now, a lot of the local, the flooring locals have done those works. So the IUPAT is the umbrella, is the umbrella. So our international was started in 1887, and roughly there's 100,000 IUPAT members. The district council that I'm in is about 10,000, and it goes from about Bakersfield to the Oregon border. So some of the things that we have is, so we represent basically 4 crafts. So we have a 4 to 5 year apprenticeship depending on the path or the trade that you would follow. Our apprenticeships are also, registered with the DIR and the DOL, and they're state accredited. They are work as you learn, usually go 1 week a quarter. Some might go 1 night a week and the first Saturday of the month. Each craft has a little bit different healthcare. The healthcare is the same, but the pension and the annuities are different. With the glazer, we have dental, vision, substance abuse, and we have a pension, and then we have an annuity, and then we have an international pension. Each one of the crafts is a little different. Wages, because I'm talking 4 different crafts, can start anywhere from $20 to $28 an hour and can top off anywhere from $42 to about $70 an hour, depending on the trade. Your total package, of course, is a lot higher. That could be close to $80 to $95. Please use your GI Bill because we are compatible as well. And lastly, when I entered back in the civilian world, I was a little lost. I couldn't find some help. I left on terminal leave without a DD-214, and I needed all the help I can. Please use Helmets to Hard Hats, an incredible resource. Semper Fi and happy birthday, Marine Corps, tomorrow. Thank you.
Right. Semper Fi. Thank you, John. Really appreciate you being here. So if anybody keeping score at home, we are 9 trades into a total of 14, so 5 left to go. And again, thank you to everybody participating. And again, if you've joined late, this has been recorded. We're also happy to forward this slide deck to you, which includes all the information and the contact info. Next, we've got Plaster Cement Masons. I show Steve Tasco as the presenter. Steve, welcome.
Thank you, Senator Newman. First of all, my name is Steve Tasco, coordinator instructor of Southern California Plaster Institute in Pomona, California. Our address is 1610 West Holt Avenue. I'm going to speak to the plastering side. Unfortunately, there's no cement mason here. If you want to find out information on cement masons, there's local 500 and local 600 in this area in the southern part of California. In the northern part of California, there's local 300. And for the plasterers in the northern area, there's local 66. Wow. What is a plaster? Does anybody know? Well, we do a lot. We apply a multitude of different finishes to exterior walls, interior walls, ceilings. We do a cementitious fireproofing, intumescent fireproofing coatings to steel structure, multi-story buildings, just to name a few. There's a lot of things. We do acoustical plaster. Right now we have guys working at the Lucas Museum doing a fellert, which is an acoustical plaster inside that museum. If you've ever been to Disney World or Universal and you see stuff that looks like rocks and looks like trees, it's actually plaster, okay? We do all sorts of things, hospitals, schools, libraries. We do a lot of restoration work. If you have, before sheetrock, everything was plaster inside. So 90% of our work, obviously, you'll be working at heights. All the job sites are loud. You're either going to be spraying plaster, which is really loud, or applying it by hand. It's a great trade. It's one of these trades that's a finished trade. Once you learn how to manipulate this material and you get done a job and you look back and you know that the work you've done means a lot. And it's a great sense of pride to have when you finish a job. All of our apprentices, before you even go out to a job, you'll get your OSHA 10, you'll get your scaffold awareness. So as far as safety is concerned, you should be pretty safe. I've been in the trade over 35 years. My other instructor that's with me has been in the trade for 15 years. We have so many different professionals to help you and assist you before you go out to the job, because jobs they're big, loud, and crazy places. And next slide. Okay, so we are registered. We are compatible with the GI Bill. Apprentices wages, they start at $20.15 an hour. Your total package as an apprentice at the first stage is $35.44, which includes a 4-hour vacation and a group benefit after 300. Your pension's not in that till you get to your second stage. Once you get to your second stage, which should take about 6 months, your pension will start. Journey workers, they start out at 42, their base wage is 42.43, and then their full package is works 71.45 an hour, and plus a 6-hour vacation fund, that or a $4 an hour vacation fund, which you collect 2 times a year, July 1st and January 1st. Next slide. Okay, so to get into the program, first of all, you must be 18 years old, GED or high school diploma preferred, government issued ID, social security card, transportation. You mustn't attend an open house. We have 4 open houses a year, January, April, July, and October, usually the first Thursday of each one of those months. You can go to our website and you can see those. Once you hit our website, go to join us and it'll show you what you need to do. You have to have all that information with your ID and your social, or you can't come in. Apprenticeship to journeyman pipeline. Apprentices, you start out with no experience. You have to accrue work hours and school hours together. You come to school 4 times a year, a week at a time. Your beginner's week, you don't get anything for the beginner's week, but every class after that, you get $100 stipend to help you with gas, as long as you attend all 40 hours. You move up from stage by accruing work hours and by accruing classroom hours. And as you start to get those hours, you move up, and then your wages go up. In our local, you're allowed to, or in our apprenticeship, you're allowed to solicit your own work from a list of our signatories, and you'll be dispatched to our signatory employees also. And plus, given the amount of infrastructure work and also the housing market, or the housing, there's a lot of prevailing wage work, and apprentices are on those projects a lot. Right now, our hours are pretty good. Journeyman is averaging about 140 hours a week if you take all 500 journeymen we have working, and our 80-some apprentices are about 130 hours a week. So right now, it's looking good for everybody. And I just wanted to reiterate what Senator Newman said, and I think it was Loopy that said, we have all these great trades out here. Of course, I would love you to come join our trade, be a plasterer, but every single one of these trades has something to offer to you guys. I can't tell you how much it means to join a trade, learn a skill, and you can take it anywhere in the country where any of these logos are, any of these building trades are, and you can make as much money as you need to make. You can take care of your family. You can purchase a house. You can buy a car. You can do so much, and then when you retire, you have a really good savings, and you don't have to struggle. So just, think about it. Hit us up at our website there. Go to your apprenticeship tab, hit join us. We do have an agility test, and in our beginners week, it's a 40-hour week. When you hit the join us tab, go down to the agility test, and then you'll have to do a talk screen, and you have to attend a 40-hour long beginners week. And once you complete that, then you'll be able to be indentured and you'll go to work for us. So if you have any questions, just hit me up in the chat, and good luck to all of you. And thank you for your service. I really appreciate it.
Hey, Steve, thank you for your presentation. Really good, and really appreciate it. And Steve and others have mentioned pensions, right? And I think it's important to note, in most civilian jobs these days, you don't get a pension. You get a chance to contribute to a retirement savings account. One of the last places that you can go and count on a real pension, where you get a defined benefit every month after you qualify retirement, are in the building trades. And that, again, no small thing in this very expensive state. So, Steve, thanks again. And I appreciate you putting your info in the chat. And I really appreciate you making the time this evening. Next up, we've got the plumbers and pipe fitters, Greg Vinslet. Thank you for being here. And go ahead.
Thank you, Senator, for having me, and thank you for putting this together. It's pretty cool. And also, veterans, thank you for your service. My name's Greg Vinslet. I'm the training coordinator, Local 442. in Modesto, California. Our area, we cover pretty much from Galt down to Merced. The main area, the two biggest cities in our area are Stockton and Modesto, and then also up into the foothills. A couple pictures of our training center here. Go ahead, next slide. Typical day in the life. So we got plumbers and pipe fitters. They're actually two different pathways. Of course, everybody kind of knows what a plumber is. We do a lot of schools, hospitals, light commercials, stuff like that. Plumbers install the drain, waste, and vent systems, stuff like that. The pipe fitters, the difference in what they do, they're on the industrial side, and so they do a lot of process piping, and they work with more of the welded pipe. We have a lot of wineries in our area, power plants, stuff like that. Anything where a pipe moves something, it's pretty much most of it's our stuff. Some of the projects we got going in our area right now, the Modesto Courthouse, we do a lot of work at the Port of Stockton. We have a lot of ag is a big industry in our area. And I mentioned the wineries, but we also have like Dole Pineapple, Foster Farms, anything that moves, and we have a lot of chilled warehouses, stuff like that. All of our apprentices are members of Local 442 and work under our protection of our collective bargaining agreement and are registered with Division of Apprenticeship Standards and also DOL, Department of Labor. Next. So a little bit about how to get in. Yes, we are GI Bill compatible. My office professional, she's been with us for 15 years and is very proficient in the GI Bill. Right now, we got about 70 apprentices in our program, and of those 77 of them are veterans. And I'm pretty sure most of them are collecting their GI Bill. Our apprentices start at $23.36 an hour. They get a $2.60 an hour raise every 6 months. Our journey persons right now are $51.90. And one thing I would like them to note is that our jurisdiction's in the Central Valley, but we have 24 different locals in the state of California. So if you're in a different area, each one of those different areas definitely has a different wage. Of course, the Bay Area, their wage is a lot higher than ours. Down in LA, I think they're pretty close to the same, but every local is going to have a different wage and a different application process. I put up two websites. The first one's my website, this LU442 with the QR code. And then, but if you're looking for a different local in a different area, UA.org will take you to any local in the whole United States, and it breaks it down by state. So that should be available at any time. But a little bit about our total package. We're at $89 an hour. Okay, yeah, go ahead, next slide. So a little bit about how to get in. You have to be 18 years of age, have an equivalent of a high school diploma, driver's license. We do drug tests. We take applications 4 times a year. A test is given. You're ranked by your score. Top scores are interviewed. You got to have a 75% on the test to pass. And I keep talking about scores and stuff like that, but what we do for veterans is we actually grant extra bonus points for the veterans, 1 point for every year served active. You just, once you pass the test with the 75%, get your DD-214 in, and we'll give you credit for that. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but those 3 points can move you up from 15 to 20 spots on our test to get in. And it could be the difference of getting into the program or not getting in. And it's a big difference. Once you're in the program, we find work for you. And I talked about the veterans. We also give grant extra credit for the MC3 apprenticeship readiness program. There's no cost for the training for the 5-year program. And again, lu442.com or ua.org. And I think that's all I got. Thank you.
That is plenty. Greg, thank you very much. Really good presentation, really good information. And so next up with the roofers, waterproofers, allied workers, Zach Beasley, nice to have you here. Thank you for doing this.
Good to see you, Senator Newman, and thank you to all of our veterans on the call. We appreciate your service. Just getting into this stuff, it's pretty easy what we do. We keep water out of buildings. So generally, if we get to the first slide. Moving, placing, and shaping of material is really all of our work. We get our stuff up on the roof ourselves. We, obviously work with operators and other trades to move our stuff up to the roof. And then we have to move and place our stuff strategically so we can move it in a way that benefits construction. We have to place the material down around all abutments on the roof, anything that's in the way, including HVAC and many other systems that are present on roofs according to which roof it is. And then shaping and laying the material with glue or tar or any of the other sticky materials that we have. How the trade contributes to construction is building is, like I said earlier, we keep water out of buildings, whether it be from the sky or the ground. We roof the top of buildings, and we waterproof the sides and sublevels as well, when other trades have not covered that by their construction methods. A good example of new construction would be Chino High School, where we just finished out up there. About 7 roofs, all of them completely different, ranging from single ply, elastometric. We had a few roofs that were almost done in a new epoxy like a finish called Rhino Bond. And we were also waterproofing the bottom of that school from the sublevels up. It's a very complex waterproofing system involving both a polyvinyl chloride and a rolled on elastometric as well. Ooh. We have a lot of safety precautions. They include safety lines, hatch covers, harnesses, as well as support from the union and the apprenticeship. And that includes the OSHA 10, OSHA 30, scaffold training, as well as a few other certifications we have, like CPR, first aid, and harness training. Next slide, please. We are GI Bill compatible. Our current first period apprenticeship wages start at $27.25 an hour take home, with about a $20 wage pack or a $20 benefit package on top of that. Journeyman wages top out at $46.02 an hour, with about a $22 benefit package on top of that. So you get just about full coverage by your second period. Our full coverage includes healthcare from a choice of 3 different providers, including Kaiser, HealthNet, as well as the indemnity program. We have Delta Dental, and we have VSP Vision Insurance. And then we also are covered by 3 separate pensions, including the National Roofers Insurance Pension Plan, the Pacific Coast Roofers Pension Plan, and an annuity. Next slide, please. Our requirements, just like everyone else pretty much, high school diploma, state issued picture ID, and a social security card. We have no sponsorship and there's no need to test in, just come apply and get yourself on the list. Our apprenticeship takes 3.5 years to complete. It is 6 months, so 7 periods. Apprentices start at 55% pay and then top out at 100. You get raises every year according to contract. And employment is typically secured by the time journeyman status has been reached, but if not, we will find a job for you. And that's the extent of my presentation. My contact info is in the chat. We cover Southern California, right in the middle, Orange County, San Bernardino, and Riverside. But if you need, I can put you in contact with anyone in the state or the West Coast to find a spot for you. Thank you.
I appreciate it. And Zach, thank you for doing this. Thank you for putting your info in the chat. And as proof that this is a good job, Zach is part of a generational team. He works with his dad, Brent, and I've known these guys for a while. So thanks for being here. Next up, we've got Lorenzo Miles with the Sheet Metal Workers. Lorenzo, go ahead. Thank you for making the time this evening.
Thank you, Senator, and thank you all the vets. Thank you for your service. So I'm Lorenzo Miles. I'm the training director for Local 206 down here in San Diego Sheet Metal Workers. A little bit about myself. I've been a union sheet metal worker for 25 years, and I'm the current training director for the last 3 years. And not only here in San Diego, we have locals all over California. Like San Francisco is like one of the biggest locals in the United States. LA and Bakersfield and Ventura and all those places. So next slide. So day of life in a sheet metal worker. So we fabricate and install ductwork for air conditioner units. Literally, we install fabricate and install architectural sheet metal like projects like handrails or wall panels or waterproofing stuff like gutters or downspouts. We do that stuff. Also, we test and adjust and balance HVAC systems to make sure like the rooms are right, like right temperature in this room, right temperature in that room, make sure the rooms are pressurized right, because you got too much pressure in the room, you can't even open a door. So we do that stuff too. Also, we service AC units. So that's more technical, like a lot of, if you like to troubleshoot, that's a great pathway in our trade that you can do. So we, like I said, we provide safe air conditioning environments for hospitals, decorative, elements of buildings inside and outside of buildings. And a couple of examples of our job sites right now here in San Diego, we have IQHQ, which is a resort, and Gaylord Chula Vista Waterfront, which is also a resort, because everybody likes to come to San Diego, so we're building a lot of resorts. Also hospitals, symphony halls. So job sites like that you'll be working at. So all our apprentices receive OSHA 30, and all our members, including technicians too, they have to have fall protection and CPR training. So we're GI Bill compatible. You use your GI Bill here. Our apprentices' wages, so our first period apprentice makes $24.10 an hour, and every 5 months receive advancement in pay. If you're passing your class, you working the required hours, you get a bump in pay, and that happens. Our apprenticeship is 5 years long, so it happens 2 times a year. Our journeyman wage right now is $48.20 per hour, but the total package means $79.70 an hour. And you also get healthcare, dental, vision, medical, 2 pensions. We have a tri-state pension, that's 1, and the international pension. And you get 401A and an HRA. So to be eligible, you gotta be at least 18 years old, have a GED, high school diploma, have a California's driver's license, a birth certificate, and you have to pass an entrance exam, a drug test, and a physical ability test in order to be into our apprenticeship. Like I said, our apprenticeship is 5 years long. You come to school 1 day a week, every other week, and you're working the rest of the time. So you're literally working full time, but taking 1 day off a week, every other week to come to school. And there's no tuition, you don't have to pay for books. There's no cost to get in and no debt when you're out. And the last 2.5 years, there have been nobody on our out of work list for apprentices. Like a lot of other trades, we have out of work lists. There's been no apprentices on these out of work lists because we're so busy, and we need apprentices so bad because a lot of these job sites are PLA jobs, and they require apprentices on these jobs. So we're always looking for apprentices to join. Also like this trade, if you are a fabricator, if you like to make stuff, because we literally take sheet metal and make stuff out of it. So if that's like your kind of thing, you like to use your hands, this is a great trade for you. Because I always felt like I was a fabricator. I never really thought I was a fabricator until I came into this trade. I really enjoy it. So I feel I can make anything out of metal. That's what we teach you at this apprenticeship.
All right, well, that's cool. Well, thank you, Lorenzo.
Yeah, I'll put my info in the chat.
Yeah, no, thanks. And I guess, here's the point I'd make, right? If you go to Home Depot, or you need somebody to make you a new gutter, it's not that hard to find, but that guy's not making the equivalent of $80 an hour. There's a huge difference between union work and, other work you'd find. And that's why apprenticeships are such a great pathway, especially for vets. So thank you, Lorenzo. And this brings us to our last trade presenter, Cesar Borjas. Thank you for being here for the Teamsters. And I know you got the last, the short straw, you got the last slot. So thank you for your patience and welcome.
Very good. Thank you. Very good. Very much, Senator Newman and all our vets. Good evening, everyone. With the Teamsters, we're a union that's been around since 1903. The Teamsters started back in 1903 as horse team drivers. We went ahead and built and became a diverse union. Now we represent everything from A to Z. That's our motto. So meaning from the aerospace industry to zookeepers. But in construction, this is the trade that I came from. So back in 2002, when my daughter was born, I just didn't know which career path to take. Just graduated high school. I needed a future. and construction was the job that I ended up getting once I got my Class A license. Now, that just opened the doors. I saw what the construction trades did. I saw the benefits that I was benefiting from, and I made it a career. Here I am, became a business representative in 2019. Just moved up the ranks from rank and file to steward to organizer. And now here I am putting members to work, something I love to do. The day in life of a Teamster, we haul anything from heavy equipment to dirt to batch plants. We're truck drivers. So if anyone comes from this industry in the military, this is perfect industry for you to take and have a career. We have dump truck drivers, water truck drivers. We work in earthworks. We work in pipeline, underground work. We work in highways, refineries. So, part of our job is also we work with other trades. When there's any job that needs to get built, well, the Teamsters, they haul the steel, the beam, the rebar, the lumber, the mud on the job, which is the ready mix, the heavy equipment to build the projects. So part of the employment process, if you come from the military industry, you would have to apply through our apprenticeship program. But if you do have some background, you do get credit for this. If we could move to the next slide, please. So we are GI Bill compatible. The apprentice wages are $21.05 plus your benefits. The total package is $43.98. That is if you start at period 1. Now, if you already come with that background where you have some experience and we could verify, right, some of your skills, then you do come up at a different higher level of the period. Once you journey out, the current rates are $39.72 plus your benefits. Whole package is $73.41. This includes your health and welfare, your pension, and other benefits that come through the fringes. Once you become a member, whether you're an apprentice or a journeyman, you're not paying out of your own pocket for this healthcare benefits. The employer is already paying through your fringes. So this is something that's really important. So the hourly rate that you're making, that's what you're taking home. Let's see. If anyone's interested in getting started with the Teamsters, you will apply at ctapsc.com. That website will have everything that you need to know as far as how to get started. So the Construction Teamsters program is 36 months. The apprenticeship program, you need to complete 600 hours on the job to move per period. The apprentice on the job, once he completes the program after 3,600 hours, he will become a journeyman. Once you become an apprentice, you get accepted to the program. We do help you place you with an employer out there, where this is a benefit where the employer always enjoys having an apprentice out there where he could also teach him what we're doing out there. So it's a great benefit for both, and I'm not sure if we have another slide, but
I think that's it. I think that's it. So,
Okay, I'm sorry,
Caesar,
Mr.
thank you.
Very good. So that's pretty much all I got for the Teamsters.
That's terrific. So you're easy to reach. If you could put either a website or email in the chat, that'd be awesome. But really appreciate it.
Very good.
Thanks. Thank you for doing this. And I want to emphasize something that Caesar said and so others said. Talk about healthcare, right? There are very few places in American industry right now where your healthcare is paid for, where you don't have to make an employee copay in some fashion, right? And that is a big benefit, especially for people with families, right? So that is one of the benefits of collective bargaining. That is what you get for being part of a larger sort of collective. You get the leverage that comes with being a member of that team. And that's not only the Teamsters, that's all of the different trades that are presented this evening. So Caesar, thank you. And that was the last, if you started with us when we started, that was the last of 14 different trades. You have gotten a pretty good overview of all of the different construction and building trades. And hopefully there's something that you find interesting there. Lastly, we've got Milex Guadamus to talk about the MC3 Apprenticeship Readiness Program. The MC3 actually stands for Multi-Craft Core Curriculum. And this is a pre-apprenticeship preparation program that is funded by the government, by industry. And Milex, welcome. You're going to give folks some information about how they can get better equipped for their apprenticeships.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Senator, so much. Hello, everyone. Happy to be here. And thank you so much for all your services. And happy Veterans Day to you all. My name is Milex Guadamus, and I oversee the placement aspect for the Apprenticeship Readiness Fund, which is the nonprofit arm of the LANOC Building Trades Council. And I'll let my colleague Isaac Lopez introduce himself.
Thank you, Milex. Isaac Lopez here. Good evening, relatives. I'm the case manager for the Apprenticeship Readiness Fund, again, the nonprofit wing of the LA and Orange Counties Building and Construction Trades Council. Thank you for your time today.
So you guys have heard a lot about the building trades. We're going to try to keep this super short and sweet. We're coming up on 2 hours right now. So what we really want to briefly just kind of get into is to what is the Apprenticeship Readiness Fund and MC3. So MC3 is the multi-craft core curriculum. It is a curriculum that was put together by all the building trades leaders across the North American states. So they all brought it together to equip men and women that are really trying to get into unionized construction and build their careers. So for those of you that are in this room that have never possibly held a hammer before, or even want to brush up on the proper way to go about things, an MC3 program will probably be the best route for you, because we do work in coordination with our 48 local union affiliates, because we only cover LA and Orange County. So we work with over 21 programs across LA and Orange County, and all these programs cater to different types of populace. And you guys are definitely more than welcome to join any one of these programs as well. They're all been strategically placed throughout LA and Orange County to serve the members of the communities that a lot of our projects are being built in with PLAs, PSAs, and CWAs. If you could please go back one slide, please. So some of the things that we cover in our programs, depending on the programs, they could take anywhere between 8 to 10 to 12 weeks, depending on the program. The programs are completely free of charge. You don't have to pay anything out of pocket. If anything, you are actually going to be provided everything you need at each individual program. And as a lot of our building trade partners have said today, all you have to come and do, the only thing you have to bring is a good attitude, a willingness to work hard, and show up and show out. Some of the things that you're going to cover in the curriculum is a minimum of 240 hours of hands-on experience and industry awareness, where you're going to be exposed to all the trades that you saw here today, and you're going to get a more in-depth view of them all. You're going to have the opportunity to do some physical training, You're going to have the opportunity to actually work on hands-on projects on various types, from painting to electrical to hanging drywall to carpentry. Okay, and these you're going to be working alongside like-minded men and women that are equally trying to build their careers in unionized construction. You're also going to have the opportunity to have a lot of the people that you heard today. Some of them are from Southern California. You will have the opportunity to meet them face to face, because they do come and visit the programs, but also the programs do take field trips to each JATC, where they can actually tour the training facility and ask more in-depth questions. You'll learn how to read blueprint readings. You'll get your OSHA 10 card. You'll get your CPR certificate as well. And again, all this is completely free of charge. Next slide. So as I said, it's completely free of charge. And I also mentioned that when you graduate from our programs, you do receive 3 certificates. One of them is your OSHA 10 card. The other one is your CPR your certificate. And lastly is the MC3 certificate, which is a nationally recognized certificate. If you graduate with that certificate, you can take that certificate to any of your local unions anywhere in the nation, and it will be recognized. And there is a benefit from having this certificate. Just to give you an example, down here with Sheet Metal Local 105, if you have your certificate, your MC3 certificate, it will give you an additional 5 points on your exam. Just to give you an example, we have agreements like this with various local unions in our county. Some of the things that you'll also be able to benefit from is that you'll have direct line of sponsorship. So meaning we be working with you personally to link you up with the appropriate individuals from your union choice of what you're trying to get into. And also I'll be working personally to get you linked, to get you hired by a signatory contractor on a project. And the difference between this route and a civilian route is that it cuts the wait time for you to get onboarded into the union by so much. Just to give you an example, a civilian would take about a year to 2 years for them to actually be able to get a date to take the boot camp for the laborers union. But with us, that shortens it down to maybe a mere weeks. Okay. You also get supportive services, which my colleague Isaac is going to get into in a second. And also you'll be able to get stipends. But other things that we are able to help you out with upon graduating our program, we will support you with a complete set of starter tools. We will help you with construction boots, brand spanking new. We'll help you with all your PPEs. Okay, and these are just some of the things that we're able to support and back you up with. If you have any more information, if you want more information about MC3 and the Apprenticeship Readiness Fund, we will put our contact information in the chat room. But now I'm going to pass it over to my colleague Isaac.
Thanks, Milex. Next slide. Well, just on the last couple of bullet points there. Some of our programs do offer biweekly stipends and all the other things that Milex mentioned. Next slide, please. Thank you. So just basic eligibility, it mirrors what apprenticeship is looking for as far as having a driver's license, high school diploma, right to work documentation, and ability to pass a drug test. Milex already touched upon the different programs we have across LA and Orange County. We commonly refer to MC3 as the other 4-year degree. So that's where you're going to, and this course is going to help you identify which apprenticeship is the best fit for you. Next slide. And I think it's the last slide. How do you enroll? Again, we are the nonprofit wing of the LA and Orange County's Building and Construction Trades Council. So we work with the local union and affiliates in those 2 counties and our signatory contractors. If you're not in that area and you reach out to us, we can definitely put you in contact with one of the other Building Trades Council in the state so that we can get you connected with an MC3 program. Thank you, everybody, for your time.
And thank you, Isaac. Thank you, Milex. And that actually concludes all of the content from the workshop. So appreciate everybody's input. We're going to take questions. I've got a couple actually, Isaac and Alex, while I've got you, for you specifically to start from the chat. First question about MC3: how many times a week do candidates meet up, and is the pre-apprenticeship training program open to high school students and those who may have been in prison before release?
Yeah, absolutely. So most of our programs meet Monday through Thursday from 7 a.m. to about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We do have an evening program at Santa Ana College that meets in the evenings. And typically these 21 different programs that we're talking about, they run about 3 to 4 cohorts a year throughout LA and Orange County. As far as high school students, we have a couple of high school programs, one at Century High School in Santa Ana, one over at North Hollywood High School in the San Fernando Valley. As long as a student is 17 and a half years old, he can enroll in an MC3 program. We routinely get folks that are still in high school. Typically, these folks are the ones that are taking homeschooling and are co-enrolled while they're taking their high school credits. They're also enrolled in an MC3 program. And then the last question here, I also see in the chat regarding folks that are coming home from prison. We currently have MC3 across all the majority of our state prisons here in California. And the great thing about that is that when somebody graduates from an MC3 program inside one of those facilities, when they come out, it's a lot easier for us to connect them with one of our local unions, and we also have the ability to help them transition.
All right. Let me give you another question. And this is, I'm sorry now. This is a general question for anybody. You know, if a vet has similar work in the militaries, such as, you know, sort of military construction work, will they get credit for similar work done as they join the union and get into an apprenticeship program? And you can, I think you can take yourself off mute if you want to answer.
Hey, Senator Newman, this is Quincy with the Helmets to Hard Hats. Typically, they can get credit for their trades. What they would have to do, it would be on an individual basis, and that trade would evaluate and verify their experience, and that would determine if they come in as an apprentice and what period they would come in as. And in some cases where they are, say, in the Navy, where they're actually giving licenses out now, they can come in with their license and stuff like that. They'll verify it, and then they have the possibility of actually coming in as a journeyman.
Appreciate that. And last question, and before I say that, well, you know, glad if you put questions in the chat, we'll get back to you one way or the other, but we're coming up on 7. This is sort of the opposite, you know, for vets who are coming from military experience where they didn't have relevant experience. In most cases, I'll let Quincy, you can answer this. There's no requirement for prior experience, right? You know, Helmets to Hard Hats is really about connecting the dots for vets to get into a trade that they're interested in. Is that correct?
That's precisely right. I myself, when exiting the Marine Corps, I had no experience in my trade, didn't really know what it was about. But from 0 to 100, they train you. You have journeymen on the job to train you, and then you also go to your apprenticeship to get your coursework in to reinforce what you've been learning in the field.
Appreciate that. So you know, to conclude, right? So first of all, thank you to everybody, especially the presenters, for making yourselves available this evening. Thanks to my staff, thanks to Helmets to Hard Hats, Calvet, and everybody else who helped put this together. But you know, thank you to every single vet who's participated in this. We're coming up on Veterans Day. You've all gotten used to being thanked for your service. The best thank you that I think we can give you is an opportunity to get into a career that takes advantage of your service, but also takes you someplace that rewards you for that service. And so we owe that to you. And I would also say you owe it to yourselves. You owe it to your families to look into these opportunities. So if you've heard anything of interest to you about any of these trades, we're glad to connect you. So you've got Quincy down south with Helmets to Hard Hats. You've got Nick up north. You've got everybody else here. Our goal here is to connect anybody who's interested to the right union, to the right local, to the right resource to get you on a path to a productive and rewarding career in the construction trades. And so with that, thank you. I especially want to thank some of the presenters who are on your return presenters. So you've done this twice now, and I'm grateful for that. For everybody else, thanks. Happy Veterans Day, everybody. For my office, we're here to help. And so, let us help you move forward in your careers and enjoy Veterans Day and have a wonderful weekend.